Hey, it's A Humble Collector here. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at the two-panel death card of Corporal Anthony Muren. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So yeah, for the first time, I believe, on this channel, we were looking at a World War II US death card. For whatever reason, they are just a heck of a lot less common than the German ones. I mean, I could go on eBay right now and buy as many as I can afford, really. And I've only seen maybe a dozen or so American cards come up in the time that I've been collecting. So I don't know if it's the fact that American cards just didn't generally show, military information or what the deal is. But if you ever happen to find any cards for sale that are from the American military, let me know. I'd be very interested. So starting from the top here, in loving memory of Corporal Anthony Muren, born April 7th, 1920, and died in action on April 11th, 1945, less than a month before the end of the war. Now, I actually found a ton of information on Anthony. Anthony, or Buff as he was called, Muren, was born on April 7th, 1920 in Joliet, Illinois. And prior to the war, he actually worked at the Rubberoid Company, which made paint and roofing material. He enlisted on November 28th, 1941, just shortly before Pearl Harbor, and would serve in the headquarters company of the 2nd Battalion of the 16th Infantry Regiment, part of the Big Red One. So the Big Red One, or the 1st Infantry Division, is a unit with a lot of history, a lot of battle honors over the years. And interestingly, is one of the first U.S. units that I remember ever learning about in World War II, which unfortunately for my generation means through video games. Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1 is my original copy, actually. I played the heck out of this game back in the day. But yeah, so I was actually very surprised to see that he was from such a famous division. And because he enlisted so early, he was with the division the entire war. I mean, he survived all the fighting through North Africa, Sicily, into Europe itself, fighting through France, fighting through Germany. Again, only to be killed less than a month before the war was over. Now, Buff here was actually decorated as well. Interestingly, he was awarded the Bronze Star for meritorious achievement in connection with military operations against the enemy in the North African Theater of Operations and in the European Theater of Operations from November 8th, 1942 to July 31st, 1944. And posthumously, he would actually be awarded the Oak Leaf Cluster for the Bronze Star, specifically for his actions against the enemy in the vicinity of Gela, Sicily on July 11th, 1943. Now, going through the 1st Infantry Division combat records, I was able to find a note to what actually happened on April 11th, and I will read it verbatim. The billeting party under the Battalion S2 and Assistant S3 left at 0800 hours and joined that of 2nd Battalion, 16th Infantry, since both units were to be bivouacked in the town of Imlshausen, which is now part of Northeim in Lower Saxony. In the midst of making their detailed arrangements, the parties were attacked by about 50 enemy infantry who advanced on the village from the northwest. The 2nd Battalion executive took command, establishing a line and pinned down the enemy with the few rifles available. Meanwhile, the 1st Battalion, which had been called on for help, sent forward 2 tanks which effectively smashed the attack and captured the remaining enemy. Now, that is the only action I could find listed for the 1st Infantry Division on April 11th, and as said previously, Buff here was actually serving with the 16th Infantry Regiment in the headquarters company of the 2nd Battalion, which the 2nd Battalion was the one involved in this action. So it seems like, they're in Imlshausen, they get attacked by about 50 enemy infantry, and when they form a line there to kind of hold them off, it looks like Anthony would be killed. And it's kind of crazy to think about. We talk about this sometimes with the German cards for these guys that survived for years on the Eastern Front, only to die in late 44, early 45. And similar with Anthony here, I mean, he had survived the entire war. He had fought his way through North Africa, Sicily, France, Germany, just to be killed in a minor skirmish a few scant weeks before the end of the war. Now, interestingly, post-war, Anthony's body would be recovered and sent back home to Joliet, Illinois, and he's currently buried in the St. Joseph Cemetery in Joliet, alongside his parents and his brother Louis. Louis actually also served during the Second World War, passing away in 1980. He does have one other brother that I've been able to find who apparently is still alive. He's in his 90s, I believe, at this point. I tried to reach out to him because I had found a notice in the 1st Infantry Division's divisional journal where he had been asking for information about what had happened to his brother. And this is from 2004. It was a pretty old ad that he put in there. And unfortunately, the phone number that was included no longer connected anywhere, and the address that was in there did not look like it was current. I found an address I thought was kind of current, and I sent him a letter. Unfortunately, I did not hear back from him. And normally, this would be about the time we wrap up the video. I would read the prayer at the bottom. But as luck would have it, as I was getting ready for Stair Build September, and was getting ready to finish this video, I ended up completing a deal for a lot of books with a guy in Chicago that I had to go pick up. And Joliet's just southwest of Chicago, so since I was there, I decided that I would try to do something I don't get the chance to do very often. So we will now cut to me in the field. All right, so here we are at St. Joseph Cemetery in Joliet, Illinois, seeing if we can find the grave of Corporal Muren. So wish me luck. So it took me a while to find this, but this is the Muren family plot here, it looks like. Somebody's still maintaining the graves, which is great. And yeah, I've been spending some time this morning walking around the cemetery here. It's actually like huge, and you know, it's kind of a humbling experience. I don't get the chance to visit the graves of the people that I research very often. It's only happened once previously on the channel. But here we have Muren's. Here we have Anthony's parents. His brother Lewis passed away back in the 80s, 1980. And Anthony himself. Yep, Anthony A. Muren, Illinois, Corporal, 16th Infantry, 1st Division, World War II. Born April 7th, 1920, died April 11th, 1945. O gentlest heart of Jesus, ever present in the Blessed Sacrament, ever consumed with burning love for the poor captive souls in purgatory, have mercy on the soul of thy servant, Corporal Anthony Muren, bring him far from the shadow of exile to the bright home of heaven, where, we trust thou and thy blessed Mother have woven for him a crown of unending bliss. Amen. May he rest in peace. Amen. So yeah, that was a really neat, humbling experience. Like I said, I don't get the chance to do that often at all, given the nature of my research. And yeah, moving to the back of the card here, we just have a picture of Jesus. We can see that this was mounted in some kind of scrapbook at some point. But yeah, with that, we've ended Stirred September. So, we've looked at some really interesting cards this month. I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. Definitely looking forward to doing it again next year with even more cards. And yeah, in the meantime, I'll keep up the weekly uploads, and we'll have Military at March for the second year in a row, which will be a lot of fun. So yeah, overall, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I will see you all again very soon.